Honda has had several fully electric vehicles in its past, such as the EV Plus, as well as limited editions of the Fit EV and Clarity All-Electric, not FCEV, and the more recent retro-inspired Honda E. Europe. But the 2024 Honda Prologue will be the Japanese automaker's first mass-market electric vehicle for the US, a critical step for the brand. Honda needed a little help from GM and its Ultium electric platform to make the Prologue happen, but you wouldn't really know that if no one told you. Made by Honda, the 2024 Honda Prologue carries all the hallmarks of Honda's existing SUV design language. It's designed to look muscular yet sporty, but when it comes to space above its beltline, the Prologue is typical of most Honda SUVs. The greenhouse boxier is lower and more aerodynamically efficient than the Pilot and Passport. You mainly see this in the roof dropping as you approach the rear. In fact, the 192-inch body length is almost identical to that of the Passport. But thanks to its short overhangs and proportional doors, the Prologue has a longer wheelbase of 121.8 inches. Comparing it to the Honda CR-V, the Prologue is 8 inches longer and 5 inches wider than that popular small SUV. Electric signs only. Although it's a Honda SUV, the 2024 Prologue will have some striking changes in its badge. The printed logo you see on the hatch comes directly from the Honda E-Compact hatchback, with an old-school typeface that uses lowercase letters after the H, introduced in other markets. That Honda logo will only be used on the company's all-electric vehicles, so don't expect to see it on the next Civic, CR-V or Accord, or even electrified hybrids. The only other electric badge is the E we see above the AWD badge, which will also denote an all-electric Honda. The Ultium equation, of course. The biggest questions are: what is the deal with the GM partnership, and how does using the Ultium platform affect the 2024 Honda Prologue? Outside of the SUV, the Prologue Elite AWD bears no sign of GM except for 6-spoke wheels with 21-inch aluminum units and the largest wheels offered on any Honda. The point is that Honda couldn't have announced that Tesla would use the NACS charging port after GM. It also can't change the charging port until the Ultium platform switches to a NACS port soon. So a temporary solution is to offer a NACS charging adapter like other OEMs switching from J1772 CCS port. It also means that Honda has only one battery pack to offer on Prologue trims. An 85 kWh battery pack for the X, Touring and Elite. Offering only one battery pack has good news and bad news. The good news is that it keeps the Prologue options simple and the pack size offers a decent charge time in all trims. According to Honda, the 85 kWh capacity means you'll be able to charge up to 155 kilowatts with the DC fast charger and travel 65 miles in around 10 minutes. The bad news is that you won't be able to compensate for the extra pull from the second GM-supplied engine when you choose dual-motor AWD on the Touring trim. Or when you get the Elite trim with dual-motor AWD standard, by getting a larger battery pack. Honda expects the single-motor Prologue FWD to be able to travel more than 300 miles on a single charge, but has yet to offer us an exact number. The company assures us that the calculation is based on the EPA's driving cycle test, and the single-motor FWD is tuned for confident acceleration and maximum efficiency. Honda also assured us that the range reduction won't be terrible for the two-motor AWD versions, which will produce 288 horsepower and 333 pound-feet of torque. Add the extra weight of the 21-inch wheels used on the Elite trim along with its sport drive mode, and the range takes a big hit. Therefore, The FWD-X and FWD and AWD versions of the Touring will use 19-inch wheels on 255/60ths 19-inch wheels, which will be narrower than those found on 21-inch wheels with 275/45ths rubber. Honda filling plans of since Honda doesn't know exactly what kind of garage situation Prologue owners will face. It decided on 3 additional packages for charging that will be included in the price of the 2024 Prologue. The first is a $750 public charging credit that allows anyone without access to a 120 volts or 240 volts outlet to charge for free at an existing public charger. The second is a portable charging pack capable of using a 7.6 kilowatts charging cable and also includes a $300 public charging credit and a $250 installation incentive through Honda Home Electrification (HHE). Finally, there's the 11.5 kilowatts home charging station package, which includes a $100 public charging credit and a $500 installation incentive. HHE is an online marketplace to find pre-screened local installers to make it easy for Honda electric vehicle owners to install a home charger. These installers will be part of a dedicated team of expert energy advisors who will help owners choose the home charging solution that best meets their needs. In addition, Honda is working with 6 other OEMs to develop a new, neutral DC fast charging network that will offer rates up to 350 kilowatts and higher, although the Prologue will be limited to 155 kilowatts. Honda has already indicated that future EVs are planned to be based on Honda-built platforms, and that this 155 kilowatts DC fast charging speed will not be found in Honda EVs after 2025. Built by Honda, this new platform will be part of the company's next steps toward 100% zero-emission sales by 2026, along with retrofitting its Marysville, Ohio plant and establishing an EV center with a battery manufacturing contract with LGES in Fayette County, Ohio. This joint battery plant is scheduled to be completed by the end of 2024 and aims to have approximately 40 gigawatt-hour of battery production capacity. Suspension tuning. Regardless of the GM engines and battery pack, the 2024 Prologue's coil spring multi-link suspension is tuned by Honda. If you're expecting to drive a smooth body like GM SUV, you're in for a big shock. Honda said it will be the driving experience we've come to expect from its SUVs, and adding a battery pack and electric drive won't change that. Honda chose to go with a metal spring suspension over the airframe, as it used the Acura ZDX for a more luxurious experience. Modern Honda interior. Stepping inside, you'll find a very spacious cabin that's Honda but a bit more modern. With 136.9 cubic feet of interior space, you won't feel as cramped as other full electrics with short rooflines. However, this author, who is over 6 feet tall, had just over 1 inch of legroom in the driver's seat, and slightly less than in the Elite trim with the panoramic roof. X and Elite trims come with an 8-way power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar support, and both driver and front passenger seats are heated. The rear seats can only be folded back in 2 positions, giving a bit more headroom and still being comfortable to sit on. The middle seating position also has a lower seat bottom to help accommodate some taller passengers. When not used as a seat, you'll find only 2 other bits of the Ultium behind the steering wheel. The right side shifter and the max recovery paddle on the left side of the steering wheel. A shifter and paddles were required to work properly with the Ultium controllers. But everything else is Honda. There are plenty of clever storage options throughout the cabin, such as cup holders in the center console that can hold large 32-ounce bottles. A standard phone charging port behind them and in front of the center armrest, and a tablet-sized shelf ahead of the cup holders. Underneath you'll find another storage shelf. And under the center armrest there's a large space that can easily fit a tablet among other large items. Keeping everyone happy, the driver is greeted by an 11.0-inch instrument display on all trims. But the Elite gets a 7x3-inch HUD for eye-catching information on the road. The infotainment screen is an 11.3-inch touchscreen with Google built in. But it can still work with wireless Apple CarPlay, which Honda managed to do despite using Ultium. GM previously said its future Ultium-based models won't come with CarPlay. The Google system will also help the driver find the best route for remaining distance and charging stops, showing charging stations and charging times to stop there during the planned drive. It will also work with a battery monitoring system to precondition the pack to reduce charging time. More modern capabilities can be added to Prologue through an over-the-air (OTA) capability that will update and upgrade the software for new or improved features and capabilities. If you prefer to connect your phone to the Prologue's infotainment system, it'll set you up with 2 USB-C charging and data ports for the front passengers. And offers 45W charging speed and a 12 volts power outlet on the far right. Rear passengers get 2 USB-C ports of their own, but these are charging only. Rear passengers also get a 120 volts outlet to use for laptops or other AC-powered devices.